Hey, Big Blue Banter listener. Would you like an extra $500? That's a lot of cash. Go to bluewirepods.com/survey and complete the Blue Wire audience survey about you and your podcast listening habits for a chance to win a $500 gift card. This survey will help create a better advertising experience for audiences and, in turn, help this show. That's bluewirepods.com/survey, where all you have to do is answer some simple questions for a chance to win $500. Make sure to read the full terms and disclaimer, plus complete the survey for a chance to win. bluewirepods.com/survey. The link is also in the show notes of this episode.
Welcome back. It's the Big Blue Banter New York Giants football podcast. I'm Dan Schneider, joined as always by my co-host Nick Flott. We apologize for some technical difficulties on the offensive film review. We seem to have figured them out now. There's a storm coming our way, so hopefully it doesn't crop up. It's possible. But please like and subscribe to the video. Hit the like button right now. Do us a favor. Help us grow this show. Without further ado, we're going to dive into the defensive tape. It's a really interesting game to break down, Nick, because, as frustrated as I was watching that offense, boy, was I frustrated watching those throws. I was the opposite watching the defense. It's crazy to have such a Jekyll and Hyde game where the Giants play so well on the defensive side of the ball, man. I mean, I know they give up the Burrow run. They give us some stuff at the end of the game. Burrow escapes on a 3rd and 18 and makes a really good throw to Yeshivish down the field. But that's like Joe Burrow right there. I mean, that's what you can expect. But, man, they rattled him. They got pressure on him. They forced so many punts. They forced fumbles in key spots, sacks, pressures, Brian Burns looping in, hitting Burrow, forcing him to throw early and complete. This was a dominant performance by a defense that has not gotten the credit that it deserves for the first 6 games of the season. Now, things might change with Brian Burns now hurt, and we'll see what happens there if he has to miss any time, limping badly in the locker room after Kayvon out as well. But, man, this defense looked phenomenal in this game. I think you said it best, actually, either online I saw you say this, Nick, or potentially in a back and forth that we had. They're playing really good team ball on defense. Yeah. Like, they are connected. They know where they're supposed to be. They're rallying in the run game. They're rallying underneath on throws, and they're understanding this scheme really well. So I was really excited and pleased and impressed with this Giants defense. And it's a nice silver lining for us. It's nice. At least we have something going right with this team.
So I didn't even see this Brian Burns being injured news.
Yeah. It could be bad. Things could really fall apart fast. Andrew Thomas MRI. I'm seeing some weird cryptic stuff on that. And then the Brian Burns thing, he was limping really badly after the game. I think Giant Insider said that.
Oh man, I'm sorry to cut you off. Please tell me what did Chris say?
I don't want to do the insider thing.
Okay,
something funny about like how he's got something going on with his groin, and I can't even tell you about that. And I was like, oh, you're right.
I love that. Yeah, it's good. Nah, man. Burns does seem to be a player who plays injured a lot. He seems to be the type of dude who's dinged up and he's always on the injury report, but he battles through it. But I mean, we don't know the severity of this. I'm just learning about it right now. So hopefully that ends up being okay. But holy crap, dude, he was everywhere in this game, all over the film, making these clutch plays as a run defense. Like, my primary takeaway from the game was how in tune and how together the defense played with their run fits specifically. Yeah. And it happened passing too, like pass-wise. There was a lot of double teaming on Chase and just removing him as an option. I felt like, I don't know, and spoiler alert, I don't have we expect more from this player for the superlatives here, because the Giants defense played freaking well. Guys like Cordale, Flott held their own. The safeties freaking played well. The linebackers with all the stuff that's on their plate, man. The defensive line, the edges. I am so pleased with what I saw from this defensive unit against a freaking really good offense, against one of the best offenses in the National Football League that's held back by their defense.
Well, I think that's the key, right? Like, if the Giants had dominated against a bad offense, it would have been one thing, and it would have been nice. To dominate against the best offense by EPA going into this game, it's a whole nother story to show how good of a game they had. And I will say this to something you said about, them understanding their run fit so much better. It seems like they've really picked up the system. We're sold the bill of goods with Shane Bowen that we'd get a good run defense, Nick, and a good red zone defense. And that's starting to really come to play with this Bowen defense. I will say one thing, though, because it's fair, I have to say it, since I talk about this a lot on Beyond the Box Score. I do personally believe Zach Taylor runs, I'm going to call it the second worst run game in the entire NFL, the second least impressive run game. I will say that Shane Waldron runs the worst run game in the NFL, but there's no diversity to this thing. It's been pretty bad for a while. I watch Joe Mixon now, and he looks completely awesome in an outside zone scheme with in Houston with what's his name with
Bobby
blanking
Slowick.
on with Bobby Slowick. And it's like, yeah, I kind of predicted that. I was high on Mixon in fantasy this year for that exact reason. So I want to at least throw that caveat. This is not like shutting down the best run game, but they still did. You could see it's team ball. They're rallying.
It's the team ball process that really pleases me. And I know you saw this too, man. Like there are times where Brian Burns, look, he's unblocked, he's the read defender, or he is unblocked initially, and then a tight end is capping him coming from the side, like on a split inside zone type of run. And you see Burns step down, restrict the space to the inside, spill everything outside, and then have the wherewithal to disengage from that tight end who's trying to cap him, get back outside, elongate the path, and then you see Deonte Banks fly in, who's the force defender. Or Andrew Phillips, who's the primary force, and then Banks is the secondary force. And you can just see they're all where they need to be. And I freaking love that from a football standpoint, Dan. I really love that because that is like, full 3.9, dude.
So
full 3.9. Just when everyone is where they need to be and everyone is executing. Because we haven't seen that from a defense for quite a while, man. Like we loved studying Wink Martindale's defense because it was unique, it was different, and it was cool every time to see his exotic blitzes whenever it was 3rd and 6+. But they couldn't fit power gap at all. There was no spill. There was no lever. There was nothing, dude. The linebackers were really never in position. The edges weren't keeping everything tight. The alley defenders weren't always where they needed to be. It seemed like those counter runs really gave them so much shit in 2022, which led to them signing Bobby Okereke to $10 million a year. And now you have Okereke along with McFadden, and you could play too high and fit. How many times did they play too high in this game? They were too high the majority of the games. They're like, all right, you got T. Higgins, you got Jamar Chase. We don't want to mess with those guys, so try to run the football on us. And the Giants were holding their own, -1 in the box, dude. That says a lot about their team.
That's such a great point because we talked all last podcast about a lot of fans are mad the Giants didn't run the football enough. It's because the Bengals didn't play too high as the looks that invite run plays. Well, the Giants defense invited the run calls for the Bengals, and then they rallied and stopped them, like you said, from disadvantageous positions, which just goes to show how really well coached, I guess you could say this defense is, and also how well they're playing, right? Like Banks, I thought had some really good plays in the run game. Obviously, Nubin, we talked about that. Drew Phillips, like everyone on that run defense really playing well together, and getting the job done to the point where the Bengals were dared to run. And they barely ran the ball with any kind of success. And at times, it really derailed drives. Like the run where Brian Burns had the TFL, that was a derailed drive. A couple of the other ones, there was a 1st down 10 run where they had a big loss. That was another derailed drive via plays where you're invited to run based on the look the defense is showing you.
Did you pick up on Orlando Brown Jr. tipping off his play? Yeah. Brian Burns picked up on it. What was that? The 3rd and short, the 3rd and 3 run. Yeah, you could see Orlando Brown. He has a really weird pre-snap stance. Like he's gigantic. He's like 6'8", right? But his feet are kind of very narrow and very close together. But whenever he's pulling or he's doing something that's not just a traditional pass set, you'll see that his feet kind of become a little bit more horizontal. It's not that same, like I'm about to get into this vertical set. There's a big difference. And he also has that slight little, like I'm going to turn my head to the inside and I'm going to try to peek and get a little beat on where I need to go. Brian Burns picked up on it very easily. And we saw Burns use that inside move several times. It came up with huge plays against the run and while rushing the passer. I felt like he just had his number. And if there's a pass rusher in this league that is going to give fits to a player like Orlando Brown Jr., it's going to be Brian Burns because he's so freaking quick and he can get so low. And that's not the bendiest dude in the world. He had one of the historically just putrid combines that everybody still refers to and laughs at. But it's like, well, he's laughing all the way to the bank because he's a pretty damn good offensive tackle.
I used that stupid combine during our pre-draft process to be like, Evan Neal can't fail. He's just going to be Orlando Brown at worst, right? Like he's too long to get beat. And then, of course, Evan Neal fails on us. I thought, Amarius Mims had a rough game. I know he's a promising prospect for them, but the Giants had their way against right tackle Amarius Mims, especially Azeez Ojulari. Even think I saw a Boogie Basham rep win. And I'll say this is another key takeaway for me in this game. I've seen a lot of games now. We're starting to build a decent sample size of the Giants being such a fearsome front four, really, with Dexter, with Azeez, and with Burns, that teams have to alter their game plan when they play the Giants, and they have to try different things. Like Joe Burrow's been ripping the ball downfield all year against every team. There weren't that many deep shots in this game. They didn't have time to get to deep shots. It's pretty freaking crazy that we have a defense right now that's really limiting teams to playing mostly a lot of quick game.
And this is something I've noticed over the last couple of games studying Shane Bowen's film. This is what I love about getting a new coordinator and getting to really dive into how he's utilizing the personnel that he has at his hand. He starts with pressure. He starts with pressure. He shows pressure, and he forces the quarterback, or at least imprints onto the quarterback and the offensive coordinator, to be quick, to force those quick throws and to force everything in front so they can rally and tackle, because the Giants did not blitz that much in this game, but they did in the first quarter. And it did lead to, a 47-yard touchdown run by Vanilla Vic.
Right.
But other than that, man, the Giants kind of dialed it back a little bit more, right? They dialed it back, and then they were just relying on 4-man rushes and a lot of twists, and they were able to get home, and they were able to harass Burrow, and Burrow was just trying to get rid of the football. And I love to see that, because we talked a lot about the continuity from a run fitting standpoint, which we love, right? But also on the back end, dude, they were passing off routes well. This is a young secondary. Tyler Nubin looks like elite out there. And the Giants can play too high because Tyler Nubin discerns when to come downhill so well.
So fast,
and he flies downhill, dude. And when they run man coverage and they create these picks, the other team I'm talking about, and the tight end goes to the flat, and that is Nubin's responsibility. Nubin is on his hip as he's catching the football. It happened with, I think it was Eric All Jr. I think he made a catch on the sidelines. It was man coverage, and Nubin had to go over the top of this traffic, and he just got right downhill, and I think it was like a 1-yard gain.
Yep.
And it's just like, damn, dude, we've seen that happen. Nubin is surprising. Drew Phillips is good. This 2024 NFL draft class, it has played very well for Joe Jane.
We have some upside here.
And it's starting to dispel the rumors that, like, you can't draft, right? And a 2022 draft, it's tough, man. It's tough, but Micah McFadden, damn good football player.
Yeah.
And he was another one flying around like crazy.
Defense wasn't expected to be this good, and it is this good. Like, how many more times people, I don't trust it. They did it all against the Browns. Now they did it against the Bengals, okay? This was the number one offense, and they had to alter what they were doing. They couldn't get anything going downfield. And in the red zone, like, we saw another coverage sack. We saw a couple of plays where the coverage was I was looking at the tape, dude. I felt like the coverage was pretty freaking good on a lot of these plays. Like, where Burrow didn't really have anywhere to go with the ball. That's crazy. We're not used to seeing that.
The two biggest plays that they hit through the air was Joe Burrow doing what Joe Burrow does,
right?
Extending plays.
Yes.
And the Giants, they ended up getting pressure, but Burrow maneuvers a pocket just as well as basically any other quarterback, right? And he found Jamar Chase on that long pass who beat Flott, but Flott wasn't in terrible position. He closed with pretty quick. He recovered. It was just a great pass, like a phenomenal pass. And then the Yoshivash play. I think he got isolated against Jason Pinnock, right? And it's like, you getting isolated against
a great play by Burrow to extend it to that point.
Yeah,
get the ball placement from that arm angle. Like, he's just perfectly layering that thing there.
Exactly. So, like, just pleased. And it's easy to look at it from like a statistical standpoint. It's like, dude, you surrendered a 47-yard touchdown run to Joe Burrow, a 20-yard touchdown rush to Chase Brown at the end of the game.
Like,
like, you can look at it that way. And I understand why somebody can look at it that way on paper, but when you watch the team play in, play out, third and this, what are they going to do? They're going to throw this change up at it. Oh, they're going to send 4 here. They're going to send 3 here. Okay. Oh, the simulated pressure. Oh, no, this time we're blitzing. It was creative. They were playing together, and they came up with so many clutch stops that it is a disservice to football that they lost this freaking game.
It really is.
The Giants offense.
What's up, everybody? It's Jerry Ferrara. I've got a new podcast called Throwbacks with Heisman Trophy winner Matt Leinart, where we will be talking about all things sports, all things pop culture, and all things about our lives. From football locker rooms to Hollywood green rooms, we've got you covered. We're your weekly destination for the games you want to hear about and the stories you won't forget. Listen to Throwbacks on Apple Podcasts or Spotify with new episodes every Thursday.
What's up, big Blue Banter listeners? I love a great deal as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to crawl through a bed of hot coals just to save a few bucks. It has to be easy. No hoops, no BS. So when Mint Mobile said it was easy to get wireless for $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I called them on it. Turns out, it really is that easy to get wireless for $15 a month. And all of Mint Mobile's plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/BBB. That's mintmobile.com/BBB. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/BBB. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Hey everyone, this episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Every man knows the unbeatable feeling of a fresh barbershop shave. Now, what if I told you that you no longer have to wait weeks or even months between appointments to experience it? Introducing Manscaped's newest innovation, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver, the game-changing tool that brings the luxury of a professional shave right into your home. Whether you're after that daily silky smooth finish or prefer to maintain a rugged 5 o'clock shadow, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver is your go-to for precision and style every time. Head over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using code BIGBLUE for 20% off plus free shipping. Get the shave you desire. Be silky smooth and get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code BIGBLUE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code BIGBLUE at manscaped.com. Hey, Big Blue Banter community. Tired of the same old team gear? It's time to elevate your collection and tap into the passion of game day at buckfalston.com. This isn't your average apparel. It's a statement. We're talking unapologetic designs that showcase our team spirit and poke fun at our rivals. Whether you're at the stadium, your game day bar, or with in-laws from Massachusetts, Buck Falston's apparel is comfortable all day, every day, and guaranteed to spark conversations. And here's the best part. Use promo code BLUE20 at buckfalston.com for 20% off your first order. That's BLUE20 for 20% off. Why blend in when you can stand out? Because in sports, half the fun is giving your opponent a hard time. Grab Buck Falston's apparel at buckfalston.com and wear rivalry with pride. Remember, promo code is BLUE20 for 20% off.
It really is a disservice to football. And I'll tell you this, Jordan Mailata not likely to play this coming week for the Eagles, their left tackle. This Giants defense should have a really good game, I think, against the Eagles, even with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith back. I looked at the spray chart this week for the passing chart this week for Hurts. I mean, he just doesn't use the middle of the field at all. It's insane. That offense is dead stale. And I know they brought in Kellen Moore, who I believe is becoming, in my mind, at least a bit of a fake sharp. Didn't like the work he did with Justin Herbert at all. And I'm not liking the work he's doing with Jalen Hurts right now. I don't like this offense when I watch it. I think it looks stale and bad, downright bad. So
where's the king of fake sharps right now? Brandon Staley.
Oh, Brandon Staley's got to be employed, right?
I would imagine he's a young guy. He's a good defensive
mind. The Rams hired him, right? I bet you he's like a control coach on the Rams. Let's see what he is. I am curious. You talk while I look this up because I am actually curious where Brandon Staley is right now.
That tends to happen.
49ers. 49ers.
Yeah. Football's very cyclical. Like, oh, you're a head coach. That's excellent. Then you get fired. You're like, okay, now I'm a quality control coach. Damn, And then the next thing you know, he has a position. And he's a coordinator, and he's back, baby. He's a head coach,
Dude, he's considered the assistant head coach for the San Francisco 49ers. That is the most fake-ass role I have ever heard a team hand on to somebody in my entire life.
Yeah, well, it's a good resume.
Yeah,
bumper, an assistant.
Kidding me?
Assistant head coach. No, dude, but I'm just pleased with the game plan, pleased with the execution. Yep. I thought Tay Banks built on his phenomenal performance against DK Metcalf. He was in the hip pocket of Chase and T. Higgins. Higgins got him on a couple, but that was just, I think, Higgins being Higgins. There was one jam attempt that he missed on the line of scrimmage, and Higgins made him pay for it. But other than that,
play, he could have tried to he could have tackled Higgins, but he went for the ball. Look, that's a lot of people don't like that. I'm fine not enjoying that as well, but there are times he's going to get the ball too, and then it's like a game-changing play.
Yeah, and my point for bringing Tay up, and I know you agree with this, is we needed him this season to show that, hey, you might not be Sauce Gardner. You might not be Patrick Surtain. That's fine. That's okay. But we need you to be a number one corner. And I think he is that. He is a number one corner. Is he going to lose some matchups? Sure. If you look at a lot of the plays that are quote unquote negative plays, the touchdowns surrendered this season, the Amari Cooper one's the only one that's like the Justin Jefferson one. It's like, dude, he's in perfect coverage. Justin Jefferson just
the Lamb one. I didn't love his effort on, but
the Lamb one, yes, of course. Yeah. My apologies. The Lamb one. But he got cooked by Jerome Henderson after that. Henderson was like, yo, man, you need to step up because CD's cooking you. I'm going to cook you publicly. And then he responded with that DK Metcalf performance. And now this week against these two receivers, I thought he played well. I wouldn't say phenomenally, but he played well.
He played really well. Yeah, and I love
overall.
the
Yeah.
man-to-roll coverage to Jamar Chase. So smart against this team. They were really locked in defensively, man. They're coming up with good stuff on the defense side of the ball. Like I really think they're going to be able to limit Jalen Hurts this week in that offense. I'm really excited to watch the defense again this week. We'll see what happens with the offense.
Yeah, I feel like there's just going to be there's going to be a play, and I don't know who's going to be the beneficiary of it, but there's going to be a play where it's Saquon Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
There's Tyler Nubin in the alley, and I hope Tyler Nubin sticks him.
Yeah.
There's going to be that.
It's going to be a weird crowd situation going on with Barkley too. He's going to get booed. I know that for a fact. That's how we are as fans, and it's fair. I don't hate it. I personally wouldn't boo him, but you can do what you want with him. He went to the Eagles. I completely understand why some fans are just really pissed at that. It's the rival. But he is obviously going to want to stick it to the Giants. I think that's pretty well known, no matter you're an athlete, that's a natural feeling that he would have. And I'm sure the Giants are going to want to prove that they can win without him too at the same time.
Exactly. And it's a divisional game. And if they win that game, and this is the Giants, man. If they win that game, we're back, baby. We're 3-4. That's what we're going to be like. And I'm saying that's a good thing. When do we ever really beat the Eagles other than last year?
Right.
It's not I want to beat the Cowboys now. And we have the Commanders, 2 weeks after that? That would be a huge game. You could beat Pittsburgh. You could find a way to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, who was, I think, a Monday Night Football game. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Back to this. If the Giants' defense plays as well as it did, the Giants should have a shot in all 3 of these games.
Agreed. If Burns is healthy, losing Burns will be a big loss.
Well, that'd be a gigantic loss.
Yeah.
He's going to be Patrick Johnson had a couple plays over this game.
I saw Patrick Johnson. Yeah. It's like, what the hell? Patty J.
Whitley. I was like, where's Ben now? Oh, no.
It's pretty good out there, Patrick Johnson. In the 5 snaps. I'm trying to think of, I remember one of them. I was like, damn, you looked okay. I'm trying to see, what did he have? Patrick Johnson had 4 snaps, 2 run defense, 2 pass rush snaps. And he at least got credited from Pro Football Focus with having a quarterback hit. That's a 50% quarterback hit rate for Patrick Johnson.
Yeah, Patrick Johnson. You do you, brother. You do you. You get in there. You make plays. Yeah, if there is no Burns, though, and we got to start Boogie Basham, that's not good.
It's going to be rough. So I hope that Burns can play. We don't know the extent of that injury, and he has played through injuries in the past. He's a tough SOB. Even to finish that game was
and
tough.
Then the rest of the defensive line too. Like we've talked a lot about that secondary defensive line position.
Sure,
the rotation is it's getting by right now. You have Dexter Lawrence. Raheem Nunez-Roches is fine. DJ Davidson has played better the last 2 days. And then when they use Elijah Chapman, I think Elijah Chapman is a valuable asset. He just, I think, needs to get in position when you're looping around and containing a 47-yard run. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure that was the game plan for Chapman to come around, because you can see Chapman just a little bit late there. And kudos to Burrow to see man coverage, know that the Giants got exploited by Geno Smith with this, and then just took advantage of the situation.
Good point. He definitely probably saw that on tape against Geno. I like that call by you. And Chapman played 13 snaps at 10 pass rushing opportunities. 1 hurry was credited for. Outside of that, it was still a lot of Dex and Nacho. 45 snaps for Dex, 41 for Nacho. But we do see some mix of these guys. Like Jordan Riley got 4 snaps in there. Davidson got 21. It seems to be the role that we're getting out of these guys. I still think this is one of my top priorities for the offseason, and I know yours as well, to really get like one of those second, third. You can get such good value on your defensive line in 2nd and 3rd round too. Like, where did they get Travis Jones, Baltimore? I feel like he's been
2nd
pretty good.
4th, or 3rd, I think. I don't know, somewhere around there.
It was good value, whatever it was. You always get good value interior defensive linemen in the 2nd day of the draft.
We liked Braden Fisk too, and he's having a good year with the Rams.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
So that's the type of player that this defense needs. A Braden Fisk type. Maybe not with the Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, because I'm pretty sure he had really short arms.
And I'll tell you what, Nick. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I don't want
to. No. I'm good, man. I was just saying he has.
As far as like a 30,000 foot view argument goes that we've had, or discussion goes that we've had on this podcast a lot through the years, pass rush versus pass coverage. I'm telling you, man, from watching this year, I'm starting to lean more and more heavily back toward just give me a great D line, and I think the rest will fall into place, honestly. And other people are making a big impact. Okereke, McFadden, Newman, all these guys, Banks. But when you have the D line, it just all looks so much easier and better. So I would keep going, upgrading through the D line, and let us build out like that.
Hey, man, it's the Ernie Accorsi strategy. Can never have too many pass rushers. And it worked for the Giants in the past. That's
win in the trenches on both sides of the ball, and you'll win games.
And we saw a decent amount of 3-3-5, especially to start this. And in the 3-3-5, one of your, or both, I guess, of your edge rushers are not on the line of scrimmage, really. The one kind of is. But there was 3 down linemen, and then to the strong side, they put Brian Burns off the line of scrimmage. And he looked freaking fluid. He made a couple plays like that. And Ojulari can do that too. So it's good to have that kind of versatility.
Completely agree. Let's get into some play breakdowns now.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So first play, Dan, that we're going to go over here is a 3rd and 6. This is a 10-yard scramble before the 47-yard run. And watch Ja'Marr Chase, bottom of the screen. You can see Jason Pinnock just outside of that hash. Once hike the football, Dory Jackson kind of stays on the outside of Ja'Marr Chase, funneling him right towards Jason Pinnock. Double team. You're going to bracket Ja'Marr Chase. Joe Burrow picks up 10 yards. Again, he saw man coverage. He was going to try to exploit it, and this was on another blitz. You see Bobby Okereke go right at the offensive guard. Burrow drop back. Really nowhere for Burrow to go. He might have been able to hit that tight end, Mike Gesicki, as Isaiah Simmons flew over the top of the other underneath route, but everybody's basically covered up.
Great coverage.
I would like to say, like, give a lot of credit to Deonte Banks for forcing T. Higgins out of bounds, but I think that was a part of the play design because you wanted to run a 3-by-1 set because a lot of teams have had success running 3-by-1 sets against Shane Bowen, especially if we go back early in the season against the Vikings and against Minnesota and against Washington more specifically. I think T was just trying to get out of bounds to open up Mike Gesicki's out route, and Joe Burrow just saw the man coverage and just took advantage of it, picked up 10 yards. 3rd and 6, by the way.
Yeah, it's something I think we'll see at times this year. We saw it against Seattle. It's part of the way the Giants are playing defense.
Yeah. Azeez Ojulari wins right around the edge, and Burrow just says, I'm going to take that.
Yep.
And now,
that was a good win by Azeez, though.
It was. Now we're going to have a 2nd and 10. This is the 8-yard loss for the Bengals on a sack because Brian Burns just runs right through the B gap and sacks him. Now, this was early, man. The crowd went wild. Quick. See, this is like the simple, and you can see Orlando Brown Jr.'s stance. It's weird, right? Like that's a weird looking stance, right. Strange, little obscure. But when you put a 4-eye shade on his inside shoulder, that's going to almost guarantee that the guard isn't going to be there to help you. So that gives Brian Burns a 2-way go. So Brian Burns take 4 steps up the arc, then just explode inside. Once you get Orlando Brown Jr.'s hips, just to open up a little bit, like right here, you see that hip just open up a little bit, that inside foot gets drugged back just a little bit. That gives Burns that alley. And you can see Burns, right as that happens, explodes off the outside foot, gets right in there. And I'm pretty sure Orlando Brown Jr. contacted Brian Burns' hand here, too. Like, I don't think Burns lands this hand. It looks like Orlando Brown Jr. catches it, but Burns doesn't get deterred, and then he just wins right, gets the sack.
Such a great rep by Burns there.
Oh, yeah, he was phenomenal. Now here's a 3rd and 18. This 47-yard touchdown run by Joe Burrow. And we don't got to watch all this, but at that point, once I saw the diving, I was like, oh, we're screwed. And then watch 94. Look, they're going to overload. The Giants overload the defensive left side of the line of scrimmage. Everybody except for Azeez is on that side, and Okereke's in coverage on Chase Brown in an empty formation. They're just going to open up the B gap, and Elijah is just a little bit too late. There's really no one else. They blitz.
Azeez doesn't go for that right there. He's going to so chase him down, I think. I respect trying to go for the dive right there, but if he just can stay on his feet and like run, he will be able to outrun Burrow. He's the only one with the angle on this play.
Yeah.
Though honestly, Burrow looks pretty fast here, dude. Like Isaiah Simmons is really fast, and he can't catch up to this guy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Burrow has so much space. Burrow
has space for sure.
Starting
like,
this
I didn't think Burrow had these kind of wheels, Nick.
Well, Burrow's starting this run splitting the numbers and the hash, right? He's like a 27-year-old athlete. He's fast. He's just not NFL fast. He kind of looks a little weird running like this, though. The football.
He's not natural doing this one. He picks up ground, like long stride runner. Is this the longest run of Burrow's career? It almost feels like it has to be.
I would have to imagine, but yeah, no, I'm imagining here from a scheme perspective, Chapman is supposed to go underneath, loop right in, and fill that, but he's about a step and a half behind, and good job by Burrow.
Yep.
Now we're going to have a 2nd and 3, or it's just a 3rd and 3, whatever it is.
3rd and 3, yep.
No, I think this is a 2nd and 3, though. I just have 3rd and 3 written down. But either way, it's the fake toss, and then roll out. Boogie Basham gets his hand on this. I just love how Tyler Nubin diagnoses this, because you have all that trash that you're looking through, right? You have this fake toss towards your side, and watch Nubin. Nubin is aligned at the bottom of the New York Giants helmet on the logo. He sees 83 go, and he just gets right to the hip. And even if the tight end catches this, Nubin's right there to make the tackle. Yep. Just decisive, knows where to be, when to be there, doesn't get fooled by eye candy. And then at the top,
that's great to see from a rookie, by the way.
And I also wanted to highlight 2 speed turns from the Giants. One primarily at the top of the screen. against Jamar Chase. It's Cordale Flott, outside leverage. You have a safety to the inside. You're influencing him that way. And Jamar Chase works into the blind spot of Cordale Flott, and Flott just turns, and he's right there. He's right in coverage, doesn't lose himself, doesn't panic. Deonte Banks had a bunch of plays like this in this game. I thought this one was like this too. It's a little bit different. T. Higgins gets into the blind spot. He speed turns, but Higgins has a beat there if the throw was going in that direction, but it was not. But yeah, you're going to see Nubin just fly across his screen. Fake toss. Nah, son, I ain't falling for that.
Does a really good job diagnosing it. Almost a tip pick.
I feel like other than the Muasau interception, like, do the Giants ever get these like tipped interceptions?
Not this year. They had a lot of interception luck last year, though.
Oh, they had a ton, and they had like none in 2022.
Yep.
Here the Giants pick up on.
Play I was talking about earlier. Such a good play.
Oh yeah, counter run. Look at Orlando Brown now. Does that look anything like the stance that he had before?
Such a good point.
These plays.
Yep.
No, you see his head is turned to the inside. That back foot is almost parallel to his front foot. Brian Burns anticipates that. And once the ball is snapped, you can see how Mike Gesicki's trying to cut the angle off. Burns knows, just shoot it, get inside. Big tackle for a loss.
So well done.
This was a 3rd and 3. The plays just got mixed up for the YouTube audience.
And that's a great stop to force a punt.
Exactly. And now here's just a phenomenal play by Tyler Nubin coming from depth. It is team defense, but Nubin comes from depth, runs through Jamar Chase's tackle attempt. Just runs through it and then makes his tackle. DJ Davidson and Cordale Flott are both there.
Getting in there.
There's our homeboy right there who presses upfield.
Yeah, 57 does a great job to contain that run.
Yep. Because I'm sure Chase Brown would have liked to go wide here and avoid Nubin. He would have just had to deal with Flott. We've seen that script play out before, ladies and gentlemen. Although I'm going to stop crapping on Flott because Flott's played well.
He's been playing well lately.
Yes. So,
and I got to say, I was just thinking about some of the pass rusher. That was a great run rep from Patrick Johnson. That's the type of rep that would get him more snaps.
Exactly. Just contain, set the edge, force him inside. And now look, DJ Davidson's right there. Dexter Lawrence, do your job. I hear Bill Belichick right now. His ears are perking up, bro. Just do your damn job. Here we're going to have a double twist sack where Azeez Ojulari is going to loop underneath Elijah Chapman, penetrates the B gap. Good move by Elijah Chapman. And was a hold. You can see he push, pull, swim over the top, gets held, pulled to the deck, creates the pick against Amarius Mims. And then Azeez Ojulari is right into the pocket for the sack. And then you also see a twist with Burns and Dexter Lawrence. Go to the B gap. Lawrence going to loop. Nowhere for Burrow to go.
D-line was so active this game, man. They look so good.
I know, man. It's so cool to see. And now I think this is the 33-yard play to Jamar Chase. And, dude, it's an extended play. Cordale Flott's, like, that's good coverage by Flott. Flott loses him for a second and then gets him. But, like, are you really, going to expect him to play backyard, schoolyard football against a player like Jamar Chase? These guys are former teammates, by the way, too. I wonder if they were talking trash the entire time.
Just an incredible play by Joe Burrow, to be completely honest with the situation. Like, there's barely any separation. He has to maneuver the F out of this pocket just to get anything off. Totally finds a new foundation to throw from here out of nowhere. Like, this is just crazy stuff by the quarterback.
Yeah, and he barely even gets a chance to set up, and he sees it. And he just throws it. And look at this.
Then dots this thing, dude. Then dots it ball placement wise. I mean, god damn. When are we going to have this? Give me this.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I have no idea either. There's no solution in sight.
That's beautiful. Here's a good play by Tyler Nubin flying down. He's reading 3-2. You have a 3-by-1 set. It's a late 3-2 read too, because all is coming over late. Tyler Nubin knows this. He's going to read the release of the 3, sees the 3 go to the flat, sees Joe Burrow, watches Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow starts to turn that way, flies down.
Wow. Coaches gotta love this. The plays that you've highlighted so far with Nubin, this is what the coaches gotta love, because it's showing that he's studying. It's showing that he has great instincts.
Absolutely. And he knows the rules of the defense and what he is supposed to do, depending on what the defense shows you. And also, there was a lot of motion in this game they motioned, I think, over 50% of the time. And it was a lot of trying to get these 3-by-1 sets, start off 2-by-2, get 3-by-1, try to set up either a mismatch in coverage with T. Higgins or Jamar Chase, which the Giants adjusted too well, or try to create a miscommunication where there was a blown assignment because somebody did not know what they were supposed to do because the math was changed very late. But it really hasn't happened with the Giants. That happened a lot during training camp, but the Giants have been really good, dialed in from that standpoint. We watched the All-22. It's not like we see it and it's not getting taken advantage of either. The Giants are just on point so far.
Yep.
Here, you'll see it from this angle. This
Pocket's
is
getting so constricted.
This is the sack, the 3rd and 11 sack. I love that Dexter Lawrence does this, and it's a tempered rush. We talked about this a lot when we studied Shane Bowen, and it's also just like what players do sometimes. Like we don't always need to pin our ears back totally, right?
Right.
If it's man coverage on the back end, the quarterback uses his legs, temper your rush, have your other 3 guys get in, and then wherever the quarterback goes, you kind of turn into a quarterback spy. That's what Dexter Lawrence does here.
Good point.
Gets a sack.
Yeah, I like how you broke that down. You do kind of turn into like a quarterback spy almost.
Oh yeah, dude. Force a field goal. That's excellent. This is where
I love this play. Watching this live from the 300 man right on midfield. This was such a good pass rush, and he rocked. Like you have to be at the game to know this. The game film will never tell you this. That hit was huge, dude. Burrow got and it's legal. Like watch where he hits him. This is not going to get flagged. It's clean. And he didn't fall on him, so he doesn't get the flag after for that version of roughing. But he rocked Burrow. Burrow got up and went to the medical tent after this play.
Oh yeah, and it's one of those plays where it's like that's probably the hardest you can hit a quarterback and not get flagged.
Get flagged. Yeah.
I think like an addict. Those refs were like scratching at their necks. Like I want to throw the flag. I want to throw it. I want to throw it. But it was a midsection hit, and he doesn't drive him into the deck. So
yes.
Just a great
play.
Did it
perfect according to the new rules, Burns. But man, that looked and felt. You felt that being at the game.
And again, dude, look, you have Elijah Chapman just penetrate the B.
Yep.
Send Burns in through the A.
And those are the little things that you just showed, those 2 reps that you've shown, where Chapman's making an impact despite not showing up in the box score.
Exactly. And he's strong too, man. He has some pop on contact. He has heavy hands.
Him. He's a decent find.
Yeah, he is. Oh, he's certainly a decent find as an undrafted guy. He has his role, and I think he fills it well. It's just, again, he's not like a full-time player. Here's another just great example of impressive run defense. And Brian Burns is doing a great job. This is a split zone from under center. Burns steps down once he sees the tackle's not engaging him, sees the tight end coming, makes contact, force a traffic jam, force and spill Chase Brown wide. He does that. He comes off the block. He's not even relying on the rallying defender. He comes off the block, elongates. Drew Phillips beats Jamar Chase's kind of weak blocking attempt. I guess he thought that the play was going to obviously go behind his ass, but it gets elongated because of Burns. And then Andrew Phillips is there, and 2 other Giants are there. Great team defense. Trying to run outside against this Giants team over the last couple of weeks, it's been difficult. They haven't had a lot of success.
Can't do it.
You can see here, Burns is just a great play, man. Karake flows over the top. Now here's there's a negative play for the Giants. This is just the play to achieve this. Yeah, it's just Joe Burrow, just a great individual effort. It's a dagger concept. Both teams ran multiple dagger concepts to try to take advantage of the 2 high defenses that they were both employing at certain points of the game. And you can see Giants
rolling to his opposite throwing shoulder, and he's able to dot this throw up.
Yeah,
it's so impressive.
And Flott he has to respect Joe Burrow's legs there, so he doesn't gain depth and Pinnock and too much space on him. It's just difficult. It's going to happen, So
you're allowed to give up a couple plays like this in one game. Jesus,
that's a hold right there. It doesn't really get called.
There was I was screaming hold, by the way, from the crowd on Burns, but.
And it's gonna sound biased because I cover the New York Giants and I grew up a diehard Giants fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there have been like insane amounts of hold from a rushing the passer standpoint that just have not been flagged this year. A lot of them are against Dex. But like I think that second tug right there against Burns, once Burns' outside shoulder gets tugged downward like that, I think that warranted a flag. But
I think you could even argue like you don't have to call, but even Chapman, you could have called the flag on Chapman there. I mean, he's almost hugging him by the time that pass rush rep is over. But yeah, we're not getting a lot of calls when it comes to that. I think that's probably when you're lead the league in sacks, you're probably going to also lead the league in the fewest holding calls against you because refs don't want to totally ruin a game with holds. But that also feels a little bit conspiracy theory-esque. So I don't want to go down that path too far.
I think the Giants just need to sell it better. You just need to throw your arms in the air and then like just get in the ref's ear. Get in the ref's ear. Be like, yo, dude, 64 is holding me, man. Like, what the hell? And then like that plants the seed. And then if he holds him on the next third down, you might get the call. Like, they're humans, dude.
They are humans. All right. Do you want to dive into some superlatives?
Yeah. Let's do that. All right. So
highest effort player for you.
Highest effort. We're gonna start there. Okay.
Wait, did I miss one? I'm sorry, I did miss one. Unheralded player on tape.
Tyler Nubin, man. The guy was everywhere.
I went with either Nubin or Drew Phillips because I love watching Drew Phillips tape. But I think it's fair to say Nubin in this one.
All right, highest effort player.
Yeah. I went with Burns.
I went with Azeez Ojulari.
That's fair too. How about best player on tape?
Brian Burns.
Yeah, it's easily Burns in this game, though. Azeez gave him a little bit of a run for his money. I'm still giving it to Burns. Player we expect to see more from. I think you tipped off that you have an NA here.
I do have an NA here.
I was thinking about it. I had someone in mind that he doesn't fit the bill completely, so I don't barely even want to bring him up. I just think he set such a high bar for expectations through the first 4-5 weeks of the season that this wasn't one of his better games up to that new bar, but he still played fine. And it's Micah McFadden, just because he had set such a wildly high bar for what I was seeing on tape from him. So he'd be the only guy, but I don't think he really deserves it. Okay.
Yeah, he played. I mean, he only played. 41 snaps is a decent amount, but there was a lot of Isaiah Simmons out there because the Giants were able to get into their deeper, more exotic packages.
Yep, it was a different game plan for this type of offense, as it has to be when you're facing Joe Burrow and these weapons. All right, pass rushing grade 1 through 10.
7-9.
Okay, I had 8-6 on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can say that, Dexter Lawrence didn't have his best game from a pass rushing standpoint, but I felt like the Giants did a good job to disrupt. And just Azeez and Burns alone were pretty dominant.
Absolutely. Run defense.
Yeah, I also went, this one I had 7-7.
I had a 7-5, so very close.
Okay. Pretty good. I mean, the Giants, look, they, for the most part, shut down this offense. That's the point blank bottom line in this game. It was incredible to watch. It was fun to watch on tape. This is Joe Burrow. This is the best offense in the NFL by EPA. Maybe they're not the actual best, but man, they're up there. So it's a big step for the defense. I hope Burns is healthy. I'm excited to watch this defense against Jalen Hurts. I think Bone's going to do a really good job, especially if Mailata's out. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I'm excited to see what the Giants can do against the Eagles, and hopefully they can, find an offense.
Well, yeah, that remains to be seen. But Eagles defense is going to be tough. Jalen Carter is going to give this interior offensive line absolute fits.
Yeah,
he's real good. But we'll see what happens. Long way to go. Thank you for tuning into Big Blue Banter podcast. Keep it locked and loaded. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.